The Spark in the Stone. In the year 1431, the heavy iron-studded gates of Rouen creaked open to receive a girl who carried the weight of a kingdom on her shoulders. Joan of Arc walked through the mud and shadows, her eyes fixed on a horizon only she could see. Though she was small beneath the weight of the towering stone walls, she marched with the quiet strength of a great army. Deep inside the castle's heart, the air was cold and smelled of damp earth. A guard named Martin watched her through the thick iron bars of her cell. He had seen many prisoners come and go, but none who looked so peaceful in the dark. He reached through the bars to offer her a crust of dry bread, his calloused hand trembling slightly as he looked into her eyes. The day of the trial arrived, and the great hall was filled with men in heavy, dark robes. Pierre, the high judge, sat upon a wooden throne that looked as cold and jagged as a mountain peak. He looked down at Joan of Arc, his face a mask of stern lines and sharp angles. He wanted her to say that her heart was mistaken, but her heart felt as bright as a summer fire. "Tell us of the voices you hear," Pierre demanded, his voice echoing against the cold stone like a hammer. Joan of Arc closed her eyes and tilted her head, listening to a silence the others could not understand. To her, the sunbeams dancing through the high, narrow windows were more real than the angry men in the room. She spoke of light and hope, and the judges' faces grew dark with frustration. Pierre slammed his heavy hand onto the table, sending scrolls and inkpots rattling. He could not understand why this girl would not bend like a reed in a winter wind. He clutched his silver cross and glared at her, his brows knitted together in a dark, confused frown. To him, the courage of Joan of Arc was a mystery that he could neither solve nor break. They brought a quill and a sheet of parchment, asking Joan of Arc to sign a lie to save herself. Pierre held the feathered pen out to her, his long shadow falling across the table like a dark finger. Joan of Arc looked at the black ink and then back at the judge. She shook her head slowly, pushing the quill back toward him. Her truth was not something that could be bought or sold. Back in the quiet of the cell, Martin returned. He did not have bread this time, but a small cross made of 2 simple sticks tied together with a bit of twine. He held it out to Joan of Arc, his eyes filled with a sadness he could not name. Joan of Arc took the little cross and held it close to her heart, a small, grateful smile finally touching her lips. The morning of the final day was crisp and clear. The heavy bells of the cathedral rang out, a deep sound that vibrated through the streets. Joan of Arc walked toward the market square, her hands bound tightly by thick ropes. She did not look at the cobblestones beneath her feet. She looked at the sky, where the morning clouds were turning soft pink with the rising sun. In the shadows of the square, Martin turned his head away, unable to watch the end. He saw the gray smoke beginning to rise into the air, but he also saw the way the morning light caught the wings of a bird flying high above the towers. He whispered a silent prayer for Joan of Arc, who was braver than all the men in the castle combined. The fire eventually went out, but the spark it carried stayed alive. Joan of Arc was gone from the square, but her story began to fly across the world like a white dove. People would remember her name whenever they needed the strength to be brave, and whenever they felt a small, unbreakable spark of truth burning in their own hearts.